Good morning, Africa. Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here on SLBC from our studio in South Sudan, capital Juba. My name is Majur Cholkor, and today is a brand new day as we continue to bring to you economicals, politicals, and social issues that matters to you in these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show. We're going to explore more about federalism in the Republic of South Sudan. And joining me in these editions are great prominent leaders in the Republic of South Sudan. This is none other than the Honorable Minister of Federal Affairs, Losuba Loduru Wongo, and not forgetting Kelman Pilimon Beime, the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Federal Affairs of the Republic of South Sudan. We'll find out more about federalism and why the Ministry of Federal Affairs is existing in the Republic of South Sudan. And after here, allow me to say it, Honorable Minister and Kelman, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have this great opportunity to host you in African Morning Breakfast Show. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Major.
Thank you so much. Kelman, how are you?
Good morning. We are privileged to be hosted by you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, we want to go direct to our discussions. Ministry of Federal Affairs, before we get to know why it was established, let's understand the word federalism here. What does it mean, Honorable Minister?
Yeah, thank you, Major. This is a word which always get some misinterpretation in terms of its definition and all that. But it's simply a word that describes a system of government whereby constitutional powers are divided between different levels of government, so that every constituent unit of a government has specific roles and responsibilities and resources apportioned to it, with all its responsibilities in order to function effectively. So basically, that is what we're talking about, the federal system of government. Now, the word itself was coined from an early age, whereby, earlier there are different systems of government. We have a unitary system, and we have a decentralized system, and then we have a federal system of government, whereby powers are devolved to the lower levels of government. So basically, this is the real understanding of the word.
Okay. Honorable Undersecretary, do you differ with the Honorable Minister?
No, we cannot differ. We work in the same place. It is actually a scientific explanation, and which the Honorable Minister have said, which is actually the devolution of powers from the central government to the different levels of government, like the state and the local government. It is actually a system. Now, when we talk of federalism, we talk about a system, not people, because this is what sometimes people don't understand, and they always try to coin it in a different way. Federalism is about a system of government, which is actually a constitutionalized system.
So, if we are looking at African countries, which South Sudan is part of the African community, which African countries are federal countries?
Africa has gone through a long, extensive experiences in terms of governance systems. You realize that at least countries like Nigeria and Ethiopia has exhibited specific federal system of government, and they pronounce it very clearly that they are federal in a sense. Then we have countries that are more or less in between, more decentralized, and then more with some federal elements. Like when you talk of South Africa, they are decentralized, but then they're moving towards the direction of federating the country. So you realize that there are countries also like Kenya, which is our neighbor here. They've been more centralized, and then now they're moving towards this level of federation. But then they don't call it federal system of government; they call it devolution system. So basically, when you talk about federal system, the system means devolving powers, the lower levels constituent units. So some people have, because of historical reasons, fear the word federal. So, depending where you come from, whether American or British and all that, some people don't want the word, but then the activity, the system, they adapt, explain to you what actually it is. So, like when I talk
So
about
does it
Kenya,
mean that
Kenya, yeah.
if people are fearing the word federalism, there is an option, like an opposite word that can be used apart from federalism?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm bringing the example of Kenya. Kenya, instead of using other words, they created their own, calling it a devolution of power and all that. So, but of course, it's a definition of federal system of government. So, but then in general, what is important is how powers, the political powers, political arrangements, and then political organization of power, and then resources management, and as well as administrative powers are organized in such a way that you have the national level, what we call the federal level, and then the state level, and the lower levels of government. How do you divide that clearly in the Constitution? I think that is the element that people want to know.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Undersecretary, now we want to come to the existence of the Ministry of Federal Affairs of the Republic of South Sudan. What established the ministry and how did it come about?
Well, thank you very much. The existence of the Ministry of Federal Affairs started all the way from 2016 after the agreement on the resolution on the conflict in South Sudan, 2015. Then after that, the ministry was established. So, but then when it was established, a lot of work need to be done. So again, after the agreement, the revitalized agreement, 2018, it reinforced the ministry to go ahead to plan and draft all the necessary legal documents, legal papers, like the policy framework, like the strategic plan, so that it is passed and put the ministry in the right position to execute and implement what it is required of as per the agreement. So that is how the ministry started to exist.
So what were the main objectives of establishing this ministry?
Actually, the ministry was established actually to conduct research, to see the different types of federalism and make research to other countries in Africa and even in the region or in Europe, so that we compare and also come up with a blueprint that will help to guide the implementation. The ministry is actually tasked to design a way how federalism should be implemented in the country. The federalization process is to be conducted by the ministry, which actually we have started, and we have also made different functions like workshops, symposiums to the stakeholders, and we visit some states. And also we recently had this visit study tour to Nigeria and South Africa, and then that is actually the function, the purpose of the existence of the ministry, so that at the end of the day it has to bring all the analysis from the research and present to the people in a conference, so that we adopt the type of federalism that we deem necessary for this country.
Well, I will come to that question later, but let me come to Honorable Minister. Based on what Honorable Undersecretary has just mentioned, when you assume the office as the Minister of Federal Affairs, what have you seen that needs, and what have you done so far at your capacity as a minister, as for the objective and of the establishment of the Ministry of Federal Affairs?
Yeah, well, you know, the ministry was established based on the Articles of Agreement, which was signed in 2015, and he reinforced, as the Secretary said, in 2018 with the revitalized agreement. When I came in, I found out there were basic structure set already in the ministry, and some few consultative activities like workshops and conferences were also conducted. And then Also, there were some visits outside the country. And then what we did was to come and reinforce what was already done, but then to ensure that the prime objective is to ensure that the country is transitioned from the current decentralization system of government to a fully fledged federal system. And this has been the dream of the people of South Sudan for quite a long time. So I started by focusing on trying to educate the people, different levels, the youth. We have a couple of workshops on that with the youth. We also had a conversation with the media-friendly fraternity. We had some training on that so that they understand, so that they understand the concept of federalism and then how they can relate to the people so that it's not miscrued and misunderstood. So we did that, and then I also conducted a number of symposiums and all that. But then the focus is that we needed to actually work on the fulfilling the objective of the ministry. And one critical thing is to develop a policy of the ministry that gives direction to the ministry in terms of achieving the federal system of government that is expected in South Sudan. So that's what basically we've been working on, and it has been a lot of challenge because the ministry is a new ministry and not well established because in terms of the challenges that is faced in terms of funding even. So we relied mostly on our development agencies. They help us here and there, and of course, they have their own objectives as well and the reasons. So it took us some time to do that, but we worked towards, and at least we're able to achieve developing the strategic policy of the ministry, what they call the federal policy, and then also as a strategic plan for the ministry. So, and then that will give us now at least an easy way to come with a federal structure, federal arrangement. And that's what we're going to develop in the blueprint, which we're going to present to the people of South Sudan, and it will be the one that will help and guide the constitutional making process.
Yes, Honorable, you just stated that federal system of government is what the people of South Sudan has been yearning for. Quoting from your words, what do you think are the benefits of a federal system? For example, if South Sudan become part of the federal system of government, what will the people of South Sudan benefit out of that?
There are many benefits. Actually, one challenge that the country, South Sudan, face, and many, of course, countries and all that, and the Sudan by then, is over-concentration of power and resources in the center. And that has been the big challenge because you realize that the effect of that is the high rural-urban migration. So always you find everybody from the villages will be dreaming to only come to the city and then get service in the city. But now with the federalization, you're actually taking these services to the villages, and that's why the concept which our founder Dr. John Garang before he died, he actually mentioned that very clear that when we liberate this country, we need to take towns to the villages other than bringing towns to the villages to the town. So that is one of the critical benefits that the people of South Sudan are going to realize. You will not be, will actually reduce a number of crimes in cities, for example, because people come to the cities without basic skills that you can be able to survive in, and as a result they get into negative social challenges, theft and all that, and a number of things. So for them to survive, of course, you cannot blame them because when they come here, they have to survive. So that's also a challenge, and to bring insecurity and all that. But then with the federal system of government, when resources and powers are devolved to states and then to the local levels of government, you realize that people who can be able to get the services they need. I was always saying that, for example, someone from Raja or somebody from a village of Morobo, for example, the county, will be struggling to come to Juba to get a nationality ID card. And a national ID card here costs around, I don't know, how much is it the cost is very small money. But then the
6,000
transport, 6,000. So the person who traveled from Raja to come and get his nationality in the city here, pays a lot of money and a lot of challenges as well. But then with the system that we actually wanted and the people have been dreaming about, is that we needed these services to go closer to the people, closer to people.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Before we go for a break, I want to bring the mind of Under Secretary Clement in this discussion on why it is very important, what will be the benefit of a federal system of government if it is adopted by South Sudanese.
Thank you, Brother Major. At this moment, I would like to inform us, the people and the public. The benefit of the federal government in the country is manifold. In the first place, the developmental programs, it will be actually at different levels. Not everything will be in the center. As mentioned by Honorable Minister, services will get closer to the people. And the problem that we are struggling with is now to change the mindset, because we must ensure that there is no negative conceptualization of federalism. We must have a positive conceptualization of federalism. Federalism is a system, as I said earlier. It is not about people. It is a system of government. And the benefit that the government will be run by the people of different levels wherever they are. And this one is in line with what the Honorable Minister said, is to honor even the dream of our hero, when he said, we take the town to the people of the rural area. So itself means getting a service closer. And by the way, there is one thing that even our existing system now, it is more or less like federal. The only difference is that it is not being constitutionalized, and also the devolution of physical federalism is not there. That's why. Otherwise, even our system could be federal. So this is actually the benefit, that people will get a service closer to them, and the people will also be part in a consultation, in doing the developmental plans, in even planning for what activity they want to do. They will be part of also budgeting their activities within their limit and having enough resources for them within their limit, so that they are able to do and accountable to the people of that particular level of government, being it a state or a local government.
Honorable Under Secretary, you did mention before that the ministry was established for the sake of research and informing the people of South Sudan about the importance of a federal system. In your research, I believe maybe you have come across some negative perception, but we don't want to talk much about the negative perception of South Sudanese. But I want you to react to one thing from some South Sudanese, that a federal system of government is likely to divide people. This is what people think. Like maybe now, if it is, say, 3 regions, Greater Bahr el Ghazal, Greater Upper Nile, Greater Equatoria, are going to rule themselves, then now it will divide people. What do you say? Do you think it is right?
Well, it is not right. It is what I said, that it is because of the type of conception that we take. The reason why I'm saying this, because this thing is connected to Kokora. And then Kokora was about a system which was taking people to think about people. And it was decreed by president, not people decided. But this one is about a system. Federalism is about a system which will devolve powers to the levels of government, like the state government and the local government. And in this system, all the South Sudanese have the right to stay where they want to stay. For me, I can decide to go and stay in Raja or in Upper Nile. I'm a South Sudanese. But the government and the people running the government have to, the powers have to be devolved to them, and even financially, so that they are able to decide on what activity they are supposed to do within their limit. not to wait for everything to come from the capital. That is the benefit of federalism here. And then
So what is Kokra, Honorable Handa Secretary?
Well, the redivision, you know, that one was a redivision, and it was not federalism. Previously, in 1982, there was a redivision which was decreed by President Nimeri, redividing the South Sudan into 3 regions. That was Equatoria, Baragazal, and Upper Nile. And then it brought a lot of wrong conception and a different wrong mindset. But this one is about a system, not about the people. Everybody has the right to stay where they want to stay. But it is only the system of government, how it is to be conducted, its affairs, how it is to carry out its developmental activities is to be actually devolved. Powers have to be devolved, both administratively and also financially.
Honorable, not to oppose your idea, but you say it is about the system.
Yes.
And is not about the people. What is the difference between the people and the system?
Well, when I talk about the people, I talk about the citizen of the country. I talk about the citizen of the country. Every citizen has the right to stay where they are. But when I'm talking about the system of government, we are coming about the government institutions, where powers are to be devolved to the different levels of government so that they can carry out their activities the way they want.
Honorable, I see.
Yeah, I wanted to just add on something here. One is the conception that the federal system will help in disintegrating the country. In our policy, we made it very clear, and we actually we brought that very clear that, you know, when you look back into history, the reason why actually Sudan separated separated into 2 is because of the call that the people of South Sudan have been requesting actually from the 1940s, 1950s. They say they wanted a system of government that devolved powers to the lower level of government so that we can be able to develop. We cannot only depend from Khartoum. So the politicians in Khartoum who loved power so much and wanted to concentrate all the resources of the country in Khartoum did not adhere to that, and they've always said, no, you don't want a system. Yeah, we can be able to accept something like maybe decentralization, but decentralization which was really still centralized, unitary system. So because of that, you find that people started to resist the system. As a result, the people of South Sudan started fighting before even the independence of the Sudan in 1956, and until we separated this country. Now, what we are saying is what the people of South Sudan had been standing for, because in the beginning, they said they wanted a federal system of government. And then now that we have got now the country as our own, we wanted this implementation of the system so that we realize rapid development from our rural areas and all that, at least to the national level, and everybody should be able to benefit from this country. Now, I think the challenge here has been there are individuals, actually people who say, you know, the federal system is going to divide the country. These are people who have benefited so much from the centralized controlling resources of the country by themselves. So they don't want to let it out. So that is the people, these are the people who always will go with that. Oh, this is going to divide the country. Federal system does not divide the country. Actually, it helps unite the country. Because everybody believes that we are South Sudanese, but then we are doing each response, we are doing all our functions based on different units that you are in to contribute to the national interest of the country.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister and Honorable Under Secretary. We'll come back for more reaction, and thank you so much. You know, this one is quite interesting. And to our viewers, thank you so much for following African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SSBC. We're coming to you live from our studio in South Sudan, capital Juba. If you're following us online on our SSBC page, that is SSBC TV, like, comment, and share, and we'll find out what is your reaction on this discussion of African Morning Breakfast Show. For me and my colleague, we go for break, and we'll be right back.